Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43, and tonight, kids, pick one. Tonight, we are back in the Warspite. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. To all of those out there that don't celebrate Thanksgiving, we still appreciate you, and I hope you had a wonderful day. Now, let's get into this. We are running Azure Lane Nelson. And as is customary for a non HE slinging British battleship, I am not running Big 7. I am actually running the gyrating drill bits instead. Okay? A lot of people ask me why I do this. I switch back and forth. Of course, now they have these little commander presets, and I never use them. Everybody complained about it for so long, but I got so used to just swapping everything all the time, I don't even think about it. But yeah, anyway, so we're running Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Master Mechanic with Fight Fire with Fire. As far as the commander inspirations go, we got Charles Madden, which is going to help with our traverse speed, and Yamato, which also helps with our traverse speed. Which, again, this all points back to the Conqueror build. Again, we have presets. I never use them. I apologize. So if this irritates you, maybe find something else to be irritated about, like the fact that I bitch and moan all the time. There you go. Anyway, let's get into the rest of the ship. We have aiming systems mod 1. We got steering gears mod 2. Both of those pretty standard. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. We use the spotter plane for obvious reasons, and we get 5 heals with this build because of Master Mechanic. Now, I am going to go ahead and swap off of my flag, my normal or my old flag, and put on the brand new hotness. Now we do run some boosters on here. I don't know why, but we do, so I'm not going to argue with it. So keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and take this one off just so that the stats look normal. But anyway, survivability 53,800 with this build, and a 22% torp reduction. Main battery guns. You got 381 millimeter 42 caliber Mark 1 15-inch turrets. You get 8 of those, reaching out to 16.7 kilometers, reloading in 29.1 seconds. Main battery turret traverse with this build 33.8 seconds. So despite all of our buffs to the main battery turret traverse, it's still not the best. 33.8 seconds. It's not terrible, but that just goes to show all the stuff that we use to try to like buff the turret traverse, and it's still struggles. Shell grouping, fantastic, 2.1. HE shell maximum damage, 5,300 with a 34% chance to set fires. But again, if you're spamming HE out of it, a Warspite and a Queen Elizabeth, you don't know what you're doing. Shoot AP more often than not, right? Just like most other battleships. Treat these things as AP ships. They overmatch most of the stuff that they're going to fight. They have fantastic armor piercing. It's great. Just keep that in mind. 64 millimeters of penetration on the HE. AP maximum damage with this build, 12,312. So pretty nasty hits as well. It does hit. To put that in perspective, that's only 2,000, or not even 2,000, less than the Iowa class battleship. So keep that in mind. Now, obviously, it's 15-inch and 16-inch guns, so they're very similar. But it is one of those things that I like to point out because it hits hard. Other than that, it's got standard pin angles, 45-60s. Some people, for some reason, seem to think that the Warspite gets better pin angles, but clearly it doesn't. It's just standard pin angles. But what it does do is it does not have short fuse armor piercing, whereas the Queen Elizabeth does. What this means is that the Warspite is more likely to Citadel battleships than the Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth is more likely to Citadel cruisers than the Warspite. It's just math. So now that we got that out of the way, secondaries, you got 102 millimeter 45 caliber QF Mark 29 19s, Roman numerals. I love it. 8 of those firing out to 5.2 kilometers, reloading in 3 seconds, firing HE with a maximum damage of 1,500, 6% chance to set fires, and only pin 17 mil, so it's really only going to pin destroyers. The 152 millimeter 50 caliber BL Mark 16s, there's 8 of those, reaching out to 5.2 kilometers with this build, 8.6 second reload time. And then, of course, they fire HE with a maximum damage 2,200 and a 12% chance of set fires. And those pin 25 mil, so those absolutely can pin battleships at its tier. In as long as it's not hitting armor anyway. AA Defense, 20mm Oerlikon Mark IVs. You get 13 of those, doing 83 damage per second, reaching out to just 2 kilometers. AA Defense Secondary weapons, you have 102mm 45 caliber QF Mark 19s. You get 8 of those, doing 42 damage per second, reaching out to 5 kilometers. And then you have the AA Defense Tertiary weapons. You get the 40mm Vickers 2-pounders Mark 8s. You get 32 of those, doing 123 damage per second, but only out to 2.5 kilometers. So there is AA there, but it doesn't activate until somebody's already landed a freaking plane on your ship. It's not ideal. Maximum speed, 21.9 knots, because we are running gyrating drill bits. If you didn't run gyrating drill bits, you could get that up to, I think it's 23 knots. Maybe it's slightly more, maybe it's 25 knots, something like that. But overall, it's not too terrible. Rudder shift time is fantastic with this build. 11.3 seconds for a battleship is really good. We don't care about the rest of that. Detectability by sea, 13.6 kilometers, 11.4 by air. Guaranteed is always 2 and 13 kilometer smoke firing penalty. As far as my stats in this ship, you'll find that they're pretty freaking good. Despite me saying that I don't play this ship a lot, and clearly I don't, only 35 battles, and I've owned this thing for a long freaking time. But 35 battles, and saying that I get along with the Queen Elizabeth a lot more, that doesn't mean this is a bad ship. And I never say that. Like, the Warspite's a fantastic ship. I just don't play it as much as I play the Queen Elizabeth. That's it. That's really the end of it. 45% accuracy definitely puts into perspective that 40% accuracy that we showed on the Andrea Doria the other day. But yeah, other than that, average damage is pretty good. Average XP is pretty good, as you'd expect, with a 77% win rate. So yeah, Warspite, it's a battle impactor, right? It's just good. It's good as ship. But again, this really kind of justifies what I say about Tier 5 and these battleships. There really isn't a bad Tier 5 battleship. We've proven it. Like, every battleship we've taken into battle has been pretty good. Armor-wise, though, this is where the Queen Elizabeth and the Warspite, they do struggle. They're older design, flat armor, but you get 25mm bow that can be overmatched by 15-inch guns and above. You've got a big old torpedo bulge that does help with side protection as well, so you get a little bit of layered armor there, as you can see. So, despite looking like it's lower armored, if you're shooting at the belt armor of this thing, there's a good chance that I'm going to be able to turn with that fantastic rudder shift and decrease the angle of impact before your shells get there and make you look silly. So keep that in mind. That being said, if you aim higher up on the ship, there's a good chance you're going to pin just due to how flat this armor is. You can see it is slightly angled, so it's not quite as bad as some of the other battleships at the tier, but it is still very flat. And despite being very thick, you can also see this thing does have a little bit of a turtleback armor, and that's pretty common. It's not huge turtleback, don't get it wrong. There's barely any extra coverage there at all, but some coverage is better than none, as most people would agree. You wouldn't go into war without a vest on, hopefully. But here's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the citadel of this thing actually sits kind of high up in the water a little bit. It's not egregious, right? But it is above the waterline. And then any turn that you make compounds that, making it easier to citadel you. Now again, you do have a little bit of a turtleback, but do not rely on that turtleback to save you from being citadeled. And another thing is, we have a beautiful shell catcher here, which means that if somebody has enough penetration and they overmatch your bow with 15-inch guns or above, they can absolutely citadel you straight through the bow because of that extra little nub that's sitting up there. So keep that in mind, and that goes double for the rear. Because the rear is actually even easier to do. Get out of my way, sailboat. But if you overmatch the rear of a Warspite or a Queen Elizabeth, I mean, the Citadel is just sitting right there, waiting to get obliterated. So be very careful when you're kiting away in these ships against something that overmatches you. It's a thing. Other than that, we don't go over all that. We don't need to. You know the grand old lady. So with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Trap, and we are in the grand old lady, the Warspite. So, what is there about the Warspite and the Queen Elizabeth that draws everybody in? And it's simple. They're good ships. They sit relatively low in the water. They got decent armor protection. They're very agile for battleships. They got big guns. They're accurate. There's really not a downside to these ships. There just isn't. And so, why a lot of people gravitate towards them? Because they're good. It's that simple. Why do people like the Warspite? Because it tends to be able to Citadel battleships, so you get that really nice feeling of punishing broadside battleship players. That being said, this match is going to be an interesting one. As you can see, one of the things that I've been running into at Tier 5 is just the sheer volume of destroyer players, which sounds bad when you think about it, but really only limit your damage output because there's just less damage to go around. Most of these destroyer players, they don't know what they're doing at this tier, and that extends into the upper tiers too, but at least at upper tiers, you get one or two of the destroyer players in a match that know what they're doing. Maybe something bad happens and it ruins their game plan or whatever, but for the most part, these ships are disgusting, and what you're about to see will boggle the mind. We're going to call these destroyer players vultures. They're vultures. And you'll see why when I show you guys. They're vultures, 100% they're vultures. These guys, I'll give them credit where credit is due. They at least, hello, nice shot. We've got a beautiful look at a broadside Pensacola going behind the island. Doesn't see it coming, and you've got to be kidding me. 2.1 accuracy, and we managed to miss every single shell on a broadside Pensacola at the beginning of the match. That is tragic. Anyway, but yeah, vultures. These guys, I will give them credit. When they see an opportunity, they take it. But that opportunity is going to be in direct contrast to my ability to farm damage in this one. So I just, oh my, look at that accuracy. What the f is that? Fuso's about to have a bad day. Yeet! Jesus, man. We literally just hit all 8 shells at almost maximum range. What was that? Warspite. Queen Elizabeth. Accurate. Not Andrea Doria, okay? It's Andrea Doria. Shh. But as you can see, they've already lost the destroyer. Shocker. There's 8 of them in the match. The fact that any of them are still alive at 12:30 is just a testament to how nobody has actually gone forward yet. But as we catch this, I mean, again, this Pensacola, I have never seen a Pensacola get away with the dumb that this guy's about to get away with. We just clapped his cheek, took all his health. There's a cruiser right here. If the Aoba fires HE at this guy, look, he left him with a hair. The guy's dead. Just shoot him one more time. You reload every, like, what, 12 seconds in the Aoba? And all you gotta do is hit him one more time, and Königsberg. I mean, Jesus, dude. Like, what are you doing? Yeet! You've gotta be kidding me! How do we only get one? Dude, this is Warspite proving that we can take all of the health, but of course, in true Spartan fashion, leave everybody with just enough for somebody else to take the kill. And as you can see, Königsberg's about to run into those torps because he has nowhere to go, because he went inside of the islands. And Yeet City, down he goes. And then we lose our Aoba, and the Pensacola's still alive! So I'm like, okay, we'll finish him off. Front gun should be able to clear that island and finish him off. Really? That guy is going to be an annoyance for the rest of the game, and I'm not even joking. That guy right there, Pensacola, no health, still going to continuously put himself in position. Oh, God. Hello, Mayhan. You got a buff not that long ago, and so you have longer range torpedoes, and at this range it doesn't matter because you would have still been able to torpedo me, so I wonder what you're doing. He's firing his guns now. I wonder if that means he's already launched his torpedoes. And he's doing a little loop-de-loop, which I can't remember if the Mayhan has wing turrets or not. I think it was the Farragut that had the... Oh, man. We're good. We've got torp production. We're fine. It's American torpedoes. They don't hit that... Ouch. They don't hit that hard. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Don't overcorrect. We're good. And he does, in fact, show that he has a wing turret. So, good thing we avoided that. But we take all of his health, and, of course, our destroyers are just sitting here farming this guy to smokescreen. And, he goes down shortly after the kamikaze on the other side goes down. You can see just as I get reloaded too. Vultures, I tell you! Vultures! Fire! But look, Pensacola shows himself again. We got one gun ready. Doesn't matter, should be a kill. And... what the f is up with this Pensacola's luck? How is he still alive? I fire the rear turret. One shell gets through. Nothing! You get nothing! Good day, sir! What in the world is happening? Pensacola, I'm telling you. The guy is annoying, he's still continuing to be a problem, and he has 0 hit points. One shot from even a destroyer finishes him off. Well, but our secondaries are actually getting involved, which is fun, and this poor Fuso is going to find out real quick that there's not a whole lot he can do about this engagement. So I'm just going to farm him. I'm going to farm him. But look at the little destroyers setting up their ambush already. You can see it. The guy on the left, he finished the kamikaze. He's like, I'm going to capture this base, and I'm going to go forward. I'm going to run into the back of these battleships that are all clustered into one location, and they're going to get obliterated. Which, again, is just going to limit the amount of damage that I end up getting in this one. So you can see, I see the Fuso here, and I'm like, okay, I can overmatch his bow. The Pensacola's still shooting me. I'm telling you, man, it's bull. But we get a pretty bad salvo there. Only 3 shells ended up hitting and doing damage. The rest of it kind of shattered or ricocheted, which is odd because we do overmatch. And I thought I was aiming close enough to the bow, but you can see the little turd waffle coming around the corner with his torps as the Pensacola finally went down. And just these torpedoes come out of nowhere and just obliterate everybody. We got the new French destroyer, we got the other destroyer over there. Just everything is getting yeeted as far as the eye can see. And then I go through the cheek of this New Mexico and showcase just how nasty accurate this thing really is. And then he's dead. And now we've got 120,000 damage. And I just want to point out to the map, in case you guys didn't notice, my entire team is following me. And I'm not exaggerating. The only person ahead of me is the one destroyer that went the other way around the island instead of coming over here. Everybody else is behind me, which means they have done nothing this whole map. They have done nothing. They've just been, like, watching the fight. And I can't really blame them, other than the fact that they made a poor choice at the beginning of the match to come all the way over here from their spawn over at B spawn. It makes no sense. Just play your side and go forward. We'd have had a heck of a crossfire. They'd have been able to tear these guys up. Instead, they get to sit there and watch me play. Which, again, didn't end poorly because of the vultures. And I would have been able to handle those guys anyway. Neither of those guys overmatched me, and they weren't waiting until I would fire or try to fire to shoot me, so never had to worry about that. But we're going to come around the backside of this base. This game's still not over, believe it or not. There's still an Iron Duke out here, of all things. And this is what they ran away from. I just want to point this out. There is one destroyer over there, and one battleship that's an Iron Duke, and that's what my teammates ran away from their spawn. This is why not coming into the game with a game plan, or in this case, coming into a game with a game plan of simply running away from your side no matter what, is stupid. It's just a bad strategy. If you guys want to play the game and you want to learn how to play, then you've got to learn to play your side. You've got to show a little tenderness. And I'm a dork, man. Why do you guys watch? Anyway, Iron Duke comes out flat broadside, as you'd expect. He doesn't know he's about to be spotted. He would if he paid attention to the map, but I digress. He's a tier 4 player, probably new. Same thing with our guys. But again, this is just, these videos showcase the differences between players, right? There's people like me who've been around the game a long time, understand what my job is, what my role is, what I should be doing in a match, where the enemy is weak and strong, and this is why I don't play lower tier often. And a lot of people ask this. It's simple. It's bullying. I don't even consider myself to be a good player. I'm above average at best. But it's just bullying because of the sheer knowledge difference between me, who've been playing the game for 7 years, and the rest of the player base that's just coming in at tier 4 and tier 5, right? Like, you can get to tier 5 in a day. That doesn't mean you're good at the game. It just means that you can easily grind up to tier 5 on a line in 1 day, right? Maybe even higher. But it's been a while since I've done it. But Iron Duke, he's at least slowing down. He's like, man, I got bullied here. I don't know what I should do. The entire enemy team's against me. My team did cut across the cap instead of just following me blindly around the island. So there's that. They're learning. They're like, I can go elsewhere. Yes, you can. You should have. This Iron Duke would have been dead 15 minutes ago. Potentially. But they ran away from one destroyer and an Iron Duke, is what it comes down to. And you can see Vulture again. Vultures, man. They smell blood in the water and they're gone. They're like little sharks. Not the fearsome sharks, but just the little sharks that are annoying as crap. But unfortunately, we don't end up hitting him one more time. But we put up 136,000 damage again in a game that we had no business getting that kind of damage output. But it just so happened to turn out that their entire team came to me and I got to farm them. 136,000 damage, Confederate high caliber, first blood, not too shabby. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Also, I don't think that was a first blood medal. Maybe it was a secondary medal. I don't remember. But anyway, have a good day.